Merry meet everyone, welcome back to My Pagan Life once again. If you want to know the very basics of cleansing and charging crystals, then you're in the right place. So for more information, make sure to stay tuned. So guys, I hereby welcome you to this basic guide on how to cleanse and charge crystals. It's actually a lot more easy than one might think, so we're gonna make this very simple. First off, allow me to introduce the crystal that I'm going to be using for this video. This is probably my favorite crystal, at least one of my favorite crystals, which is a clear crystal quartz point, I believe. It's so nice to look at with all those edges and all that kind of stuff. So let me just start off by saying that your best friends when it comes to cleansing and charging is definitely going to be water and salt. These are the typical, traditional, very basic ingredients to use for cleansing especially, but also charging. Also bear in mind that if you're going to use salt, you really don't need a lot. Now the truth is that you can use water and salt for this purpose in whatever way you wish, really. I guess the most popular way to do this is to actually put the crystal into water or into salt. Bear in mind though that crystals and stones are minerals. From my knowledge at least, some crystals, some stones are not all that happy about being in contact with water and especially salt. So before you have your crystals in contact with either water, salt, or both of these, make sure to do some research on your crystals to make sure you're not making a huge mistake. But yeah, now we've gotten that out of the way, if you would do it like the way a lot of people do it, you would probably just basically do this. Whoop! When it comes to putting a crystal in water, you'll probably hear a lot of people say that you should leave it in the water for a certain period of time. I would say you can do that, but I sort of feel like there should be more to it. Once it's in the water, you can always use this opportunity to put your intention into the water or into the crystal. I mean, the purpose of cleansing a crystal is sort of to neutralize it and take away all the unnecessary energy in the crystal, so especially if you think there is negative energy too, envision that the water is sort of dragging out all of that energy, if you will. I highly recommend you put your focus into this. As for how long it should be in there, I mean, I don't really think it matters. I just think you should take it out of the water when you're ready. What you saw here with the water, you can also do with the salt, although I prefer water. And yeah, as I said, make sure to do your research so that your crystal can actually take being in salt. Did I also mention that you can combine the water and the salt? It's actually a very popular way of cleansing the crystal. You add the salt to the water because both salt and water are traditionally seen to be very cleansing ingredients. But that's really up to you. I mean, I prefer to go with clean water, and if I am working with salt, I just prefer to keep it nearby and not really be all that much in contact with it, but those are basically things you can do. If you don't want to use any ingredients at all, that's also fine for cleansing crystals. I actually find that the best way for me to cleanse a crystal is to keep the crystal in my hand somehow and then meditate on it. Now, that was water and salt, but there are also other things you can use. The next thing I have here is actually incense. If you don't want to work with the element of water, which is obviously water, and if you don't want to work with salt, which is the element of earth, you can always work with air or fire. Incense itself is associated with air, but you're going to have to use a match to light it, which is going to require fire. If you use incense for cleansing, I highly recommend you put the crystal over the incense and then let it bathe in that smoke. In this instance, I'd rather imagine the smoke just pushing away all that energy rather than the energy being pulled out of it. It just seems more natural. Now your question may be, well, now that I've cleansed my crystal, how do I go about charging my crystal? Well, I'll be honest, if I wanted to put things very, very straightforward, I would actually say you can also use these methods for charging your crystal. However, if you want something in particular to use, then this would be it. Put the crystal inside the jar, close said jar, lock it, Now you can put this beside your window or outside your house to be charged by either the sun or the moon. The sun and the moon's energy can be a very powerful thing. You can always elaborate on this practice, like you can have water and salt inside the jar with the crystal, or you can add herbs and other ingredients into the jar, like a spell jar, for instance. But this is a less direct way of charging a crystal, in my opinion, because the way I would usually charge or cleanse a crystal is by taking my intention directly and putting it into the crystal. But those are the basics of crystal cleansing and crystal charging. That being said, however, now that you know the basics of all this, make sure to tell me down in the comments how you like to do this. Do you do the same as I've said in this video? Do you basically do the same but elaborate on it? Or do you do something completely different? Make sure to tell me in the comments below. Other than commenting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos on Wicca paganism and witchcraft every week. And all that aside, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to charge and cleanse your crystals. And until next time, guys, blessed be from My Pagan Life.